Our speaker this evening is a mom of three wonderful clowns, and those were her words. Now almost tweens, a flower enthusiast, and the head farmette of Turbow Farms. Turbow Farms is a small family run specialty cut flower farm. Believe it or not, nestled in our very own backyard here in the foothills of Los Altos. We're about to hear the story of how the farm was started from the three words cultivate, gather, and create. It's my pleasure. Oh, and I do want to say I have been to one of her workshops and they are amazing. It was really fun. And the flowers I went home with were even more amazing. It's my pleasure to introduce you to our speaker for the evening, Charmaine Turbow.
Hello, and thank you for having me. Thank you, Jen. So, our talk this evening, my talk this evening, is unrehearsed. So, I hope you'll just go along with me as I share our story of how we started our flower farm. Um, I just want to wind the clock back just a bit for those who haven't had a chance to read the biography or the lead up to me giving a talk this evening. Um, Let me just get the slideshow going. This is how it all began. I grew up in Vancouver, British Columbia. Any fellow Canadians here by chance? Show of hands, anybody? Oh, yes, there's always a Canuck in the crowd. Makes you feel at home. I grew up in Richmond, British Columbia, which is a little suburb of Vancouver, running in fields, picking berries in ditches. My mom had a dream of having an English garden, but we really didn't have to have our own English garden because everybody else had English gardens. Rhododendrons, so high that you just go, oh, it feels like dinosaur land. And that's kind of what I grew up in. And because we didn't have a formal garden at our home, we just got inventive about like pulling things off the road and roadside foraging. And I think that just kind of stuck with me through the years. What I do remember most and where my gardening really came in was our neighbors with the vegetable gardens. And even my mom, the only thing that she would really propagate were geraniums. Every winter, I would have the scent of geraniums along the front windowsill. And I was just like, get the smell out of the house. And because it was so cold, you'd never really see a lot blooming. So we had this, and forgive me, purple status, dried flowers would be sitting on the dining room table all year long. So now when I have status, I really try not to grow purple, but for whatever reason, it's the most common seed available and it always shows up. So moving forward in Vancouver, I actually attended university there, did a degree in cell biology and a minor in genetics, and I was like, I want to get out of here. And next thing you knew it, I was down here for actually chiropractic school. Finished my degree in chiropractic, and I actually still practice. That's my real job. It helps to pay for the water. It helps pay for all the plants that I also kill because, floral farming, there's a lot of different, Mother Nature just, if anybody's looking for a job change, I suggest not to go into floral farming because there's like next to zero control, when you're dealing with Mother Nature. Um, so I came down to California and roll the clock forward about a good 6 years ish. Ended up meeting my husband, Dan, who you'll meet further along in our presentation. In 2008, we stumbled upon a home in Los Altos. I fell in love with the apricots in the back, and this home became our home and now our flower farm. We are on an acre, and at that time, we did not realize that it was going to become what it is today. That is, those are my three kids. I don't know what my son was doing. I think he was looking for rocks, but he looks like he's popping a squat or doing something funny. And that was the lower field. When we bought the home 16, 17 years ago, it was just covered in weeds. And that right there are my two girls holding first bundle of inspirational peonies that I got from a gentleman named Michael Carner up in Sonoma. And those peonies were the inspiration for that area to become our peony field. So, so how did we actually get to the farm? There's a few more steps. When the girls were about 2, I had actually built, I have to go back and actually thank my dad, because my dad actually taught me how to use the hammer and the saws and the nails. And that actually has paid forward to building a lot of raised beds at our house to protect things from gophers. But there was this conversation about legacy and what we can do with our children. And I was having this conversation with actually Dan's older cousin, who was kind of a surrogate grandfather to our kids. And I said, Tubby, what can I do with Dan to kind of create a legacy for our kids? And he swore at me. He said, beep, legacy. He goes, not unless you're Martin Luther King, forget it. Spend quality time with your kids. Take the time, do something memorable, because once it's past your kids and your grandkids, nobody will remember you, is what he said. That kind of stuck with me. The farm came about really, truly as unfortunate tragedy. I lost a friend who was 43 at the time to a brain aneurysm. She was one of my closest friends. She was the person who would just walk in through the door. Whose diaper can I change? She was the one who I'd take the twins with to Los Altos Nursery at the time. And I still have a picture of the girls, each wearing one of our sun hats and pushing little tiny push carts. And to this day, Yusun, I know she doesn't like pointy flowers, and it just drives me crazy all the time when I need pointy flowers. I'm like, she hates those flowers. So she left our planet 8 years ago, and Dan had also lost his mom to ovarian cancer a year and a half prior to that. And we had the conversation, what are we going to do differently? And all these things added up. How are we going to create a legacy with our children? Let's do something different. We started a family late. What can we do? And I came up with the fun idea, let's start a flower farm. That's when the career pivot happened. That's when Dane was actually born, Dan, my husband, spent 20 years in securities litigation. And he said, I'm writing a letter, we're turning a new page. And that's when the farm started. It was just one of those things where we said, okay, how are we going to do this? So let me get a quick show of hands. Who's a flower enthusiast? Okay. Keep your hand up. You know, we have to say stretching, you know, otherwise you'll get a sore back or something. Don't forget, I'm a chiropractor, right? How many of you spend 1 to 2 times in the garden a week? Okay, yeah, okay, that's fair. 3 to 5 times a week? Ooh, you guys are a tough crowd. How many of you grow things to share with other people? Now, I want to know how many of you grow flowers or something to share commercially. Whew, ouch, that hurt. The last of you, how many do you open your doors to the public? Okay, that's good. Thank you for that. So you can see we've just kind of dwindled down to creating something unique in the heart of Silicon Valley. For us, doing something completely different, something unconventional. We want to bring the engineers that are all in front of their computers all day long back into the dirt. So, bringing nature back to the digital world. Okay. I have Kim Ocampo to thank for this. Kim, we're all kind of intertwined in a beautiful way, I think. Kim's son went to preschool with my twin girls. And Kim also had a pivot in her career. And she's like, how are you going to share your story? I'm like, what are you talking about? We're just, you know, people kind of show up at our place and we teach them about flowers. And she's like, no, 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 no. How are you going to share your story? So this was produced by Kim and her husband, Raj. And I'm just going to play, you know, I want to keep you guys stimulated so you guys get to be on your devices and watch things. So here we go. We need volume. We can't hear it. Do you want? Are you ready? Sorry for the tech glitch.
It just happened. We decided creating the farm and cultivating it, but it's just slowly grown in a very nice organic way. Cultivate roots from wanting to really create something beautiful and cultivating it in a way that we could involve our kids and building a stronger relationship with them would create that legacy in its own way. When I create floral pieces for people, I want them to feel like it really came from my heart. The word gather really defines how we want to bring people together. And what I want them to take away is I've created this, I've created something unique and beautiful. The workshops were designed just to really create something unique. And the whole process of sharing it, to open their ears, to open their eyes. I want them to use their senses. And now we're open to the public. Take the time to get out of your creative boundaries and to do something different is what we really wanted to share with other people.
So that's us in a nutshell. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next week. No, I'm just kidding. The kids actually, well, the chalkboard's gone now, but they drew that chalkboard with our logo several years ago, and it now hangs proudly in our garage. And notice our garage was very messy. Things are very perfectly imperfect at our house. So I am the mom who would go to pick up with dirt under my nails, holes in my pants, and people would go, "You have a farm? Where?" And we've slowly had to redefine what farming means. And we've gone from calling ourselves a micro flower farm to now a specialty cut flower farm. The redefining farm is kind of hard because people have this sense that a farm should be a big open field and rows and rows and rows. But redefining it now for us is we kick plants anywhere and everywhere that we can on our property. So in that video you saw there was a play structure there. The rose beds that are around it, we would stuff. There's peonies all underneath there. We're planting in between the peonies, and all those things are used for our farm. You can see here, where are all the flower nuts in the house here? Okay, so was it Renee or somebody? I saw the name tag. You said golden hour. So these are Dawn Creek zinnias that we grew last year. And those ranunculus there are some specialty ranunculus that we got from Greenworks, the Italian ranunculus. And so I'm going to show you some of the things that we are growing. So how are we growing rainbows? You just missed that slide, but that's okay. We'll move on. We grow by season. And I really let Mother Nature kind of dictate when we start and when we end. We try to start essentially in March, but depending on whether if we've had a mild winter, we could start as early as late January, early February. So I really don't put a hard start and hard start or hard finish on that. So in the spring, when it comes to flowers, I like things that are really full and doubled. So you'll find doubled tulips and narcissus, the Italian ranunculus, Japanese bread ranunculus. We've got our peony field and Carol, bearded irises. In the summer, we have rose lilies, dahlias, zinnias, and cosmos as our main flowers. And then as we're rolling into fall now, we're finishing off our dahlias. They're just actually getting lopped this week. And our heirloom chrysanthemums should be, they've all set buds, so they'll be here in the next week or two. So just to kind of give you a taste of what we grow, this was a piece made in early spring or May, sorry. So you can see there we've got some of our peonies up top and some roses. We have some supplemental Gerber daisies. That's belladonnas, delphinium that we grow. These are some other, oh, talk about growing unusual. Have you guys seen this daffodil before, Narcissus? This is Ice King. And it is, to me, bananas. It looks like origami. It looks fake. But you won't find this at Trader Joe's, okay? This is just a pan of some of the ranunculus that we grow. That is a new one that we started growing last year called Moderna 807. I think it's been renamed as Cosmo. It is, I believe, a Italian ranunculus. We get it from Ownings. And those are porcelain series ranunculus right there. But a lot of different colors. These type of ranunculus tend to come on longer stem length, and they last a lot longer than the older series like Amandine that I've found. Let's see. Here's some more flowers for you. I am holding a bundle of etched salmon peonies there that we've grown earlier this season. There's some more ranunculus there, the Striato series, the Italian ones, bearded irises down below. And you're going to learn more about sweet peas later on, but Marie, who's sitting out front here, she has a love affair with sweet peas. So that's just a taste of them there. So in the summertime, rose lilies, dahlias, zinnias, and cosmos. Has anybody ever grown rose lilies? So rose lilies are kind of the oriental hybrid of the rose lily world. It's like a genetic phenom. They last longer, no stamens as long as they've been grown properly. They've got a really light scent, and they're just amazing in bananas. So we are still considered small scale, but think about it this way. In a 20-foot patch, we can grow about 375 bulbs. We plant them nice and close together. We let them stay there for about 2 years before we have to actually divide them. But they are the showstopper in July. So if you can get your hands on some or come find me, they're a must grow in the garden. And here are some examples of flowers that we grow in the fall and some arrangements that I've made. Any questions so far? Okay. Up next, how do we grow this stuff? Space maximization. Yeah, absolutely. What's the technical name or botanical name? Good question. It's an oriental lily, so I believe so. It's a hybrid. Maybe. I bet you ChatGPT would know. Oh, okay. We are on an acre. When it comes to planting, we are planting high volume and high occupancy. So what that means is where a regular person might plant ranunculus every 8 inches or so, we're planting them every 6 inches. We're really packing in a lot. So on our property, the main portion of what I would call annual planting, where we flip ranunculus, tulips, and dahlias, that's the cycle that we always are flipping. For example, I did the math last night. It's about 750 square feet of actual planting space. And in that space, we're going to have over 1,100 ranunculus corms planted in that spot. So it's high volume. We're maximizing every single bit of soil in that spot. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for the ranunculus, we don't. They just kind of like squish up next to each other. The question was with the with the ranunculus. or the things that we grow in that close proximity, do we need any type of netting or support? With a ranunculus, we do not. They tend to be upright and they're fine. As we flip the table to the dahlias, we use Hortonova 10X just to give them some support at 18 inches, and then we corral all the way around. But with our dahlias, we're planting 15 to 18 inches apart on rows and 12 inches on center. Yeah. Yeah, so soil care is really important to us. In between the question was, do we take care, how do we take care of our soil with all these plantings? It's always been, can we give the soil a rest and do a cover crop? And the answer is no, because when you want spring blooms, you're planting in fall. And it's just kind of like the pay forward program. So what we end up doing is before every single planting, we're amending. We're putting a broad spectrum fertilizer in, compost, humus, and or this in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be putting in some diesel compost. So some high powered food for our soil. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. We store by, we have a compost of which Miss Roberta Barnes has put her own hands into our compost before. We just don't generate enough compost. When we built our new beds, we do have chickens, and we used some of their broken down feathers and their manure in the very, very bottom of the beds, just as, as it breaks down, the roots will tap down into it, but they just don't generate enough, and we're not making enough compost to feed all our square footage. So it's usually like something like down to earth, BioLive fertilizer that we till in, gold. You've got the, why am I blanking? The worms, worm castings. It's been a long week, people. I've got 3 kids. Worm castings, compost, humus, and the humus is great just for, it's kind of like they call it the pantry of soil. It helps with absorption and stuff. So. So I don't get it down to that hard of a science just because we're doing a general feeding each time. With our roses, I'll feed them a rose fertilizer, but with everything else, I'm feeding them, at the beginning of the season of dahlias, we're putting bone meal in because we know that structurally they're going to need more. The ranunculus are pretty easy peasy. As long as you've got healthy stalk and new corms, they go gangbusters. They really don't need a lot. Where you'll find probably the real difference is, for example, we used to grow our own pumpkins, and we would use those pumpkins for our succulent pumpkin workshops later in the year. And we just found that growing vegetables, the amount of nutrition needed depletes the soil so fast and so hard that I can no longer grow pumpkins. So the flowers is just broad spectrum, humus, compost, any worm castings, and they seem to be pretty darn happy. Yeah. Okay. Zone 9B advantages. All of you know we have a very long growing season, which is blessing and a curse. Very little rest. People go, one of my doctors was like, so I just want to ask, during December, January, you put your feet up and rest, right? I go, are you kidding me? It's like, no, it's nonstop. We started seed sowing for perennials in July, August, and we're already, we're going to be planting for spring this coming week. So it's, the beautiful part is that we can grow a very, very large, wide range of florals. But the unfortunate part is that there is very little rest. So, okay. This is my family. Hello, flower fans, friends. To the left is my husband, Dan. He is the yes man. He is effectively the COO. He's also the delivery man. So Dan gave up his securities litigation and law degree to go deliver flowers. And I always ask him, I said, is this humbling for you? He's like, I love it. Your customers leave me chocolates. I pull a few weeds for them. It's great. So Those are my two twins. They are twin girls, Lauren and Kara. They are now 12. And little dude, Dane. And all of them, you saw how little they were when we started the farm. They've been, I've yelled at them a lot for not watering something, or you go pull a bucket of weeds. It's been great anger management, great, all these life lessons that I, as a parent, the farm has just like made my parenting life easier. So the supporting staff to the left is Steph. She's my right and left hand lady. She's one of my closest girlfriends. She is at pretty much every single workshop. She could probably teach the workshops by now. In the middle is Marie, who is also sitting here front row and center with us. Marie's been with us. She found us 3 years ago, and Marie's been a saint. She's my angel. She's my garden angel, as I say. She volunteers with us every week. And Friday are our farm days. So if you guys ever feel like getting your hands dirty and coming and helping out, you'll find Marie. Cersei and Nigel are, you go, what is CSOVC? Chief Officers of Vermin Control. Okay. Nigel likes to chase hawks. And Cersei, she does a pretty good job with the gophers. The squirrels seem to elude her, but she also keeps the rats out of our property pretty good. So let's move along. The big question here is display garden versus a cut flower business. It is not easy. There is certainly a fine balance of keeping these two things, because with a display garden, when people come onto our property to see the farm and to visit and to do a workshop, at the back of their heads, they're thinking they're going to see these rows and rows of flowers. And I would love for that to happen. But the truth is that flowers will keep producing if you keep them cut back. So how do you navigate that? And this year was really kind of a fun year for us because we got rid of the kids' play structure. I actually gave them 24 hours to decide, what do you want to go there? Only 24 hours. One said, I want a tennis court. The other one said volleyball court. The other one shrugged. And after 24 hours, I said, oh, no, we're going with garden beds. So we have what's called purpose-driven growing. What it means to me is basically when we are cutting a flower, we think about where this flower is going to go. Who is it going to go to? And that flower is going to travel somewhere to bring some joy to somebody. So when it comes to growing, we have to think about all these things. And also with a harvest mindset. Every single plant that I have bought over the last 8 years needs to serve the purpose of cut flower or something adding into either a bouquet, arrangement, a wreath, something to that magnitude. And if it doesn't serve that purpose, it does not get to live at my house. So I have this cactus that's still sitting next to the shed. It's so lonely. So if anybody wants a cactus. The hard part is beauty versus business. And at the end of the day, this year has been the first time where we've been able to scale to a degree that we can keep things cut back to a certain degree, but that we can also enjoy the beauty. So how the rhythm of the farm goes is that when we have workshops, we're cutting from one area and letting the other area rest and beautify, and then we flip and do the same for the following workshop. Oh, the head format secret. That's the secret, is that everything at our place has a purpose to go into something to do with flowers. So how do we share our flowers? We have a multi-channel approach. We've got an educational focus. As you see listed here, I'm famous. That's what I tell my kids. I'm really not. I've been on California Bountiful. It's a ag show that is sponsored, run by the California Farm Bureau. Unfortunately, is the cat out of the bag? I think the budget has been cut for the show and the magazine. So if you have it in your heart to write to them and say, hey, I haven't seen it on lately. It's a really, really well done show by Aubrey Aquino. She's amazing. And she actually won Best Producer, Best Show through the Taste Awards this past spring. We also have a YouTube channel. I'll let you guys get on your phone in a little bit. You guys are really attentive tonight. I'm very impressed. We share our flowers through community as well, workshops, team building events, and I will elaborate a little bit more on this. And I will also show you some examples of how we spread joy with the flowers that we make and grow and make. So here is a little bit. You can watch this.
Now, your bountiful landscapes.
Hi, California Bountiful flower fans. October and November is a great time to plant rootstock for bountiful blooms that will arrive in early spring. In particular, ranunculus, anemones, sweet peas, and peonies. Here at our microflower farm, we start our pre-sprouting process with our ranunculus and anemones in late October, November. And then we follow with a second batch in January. This ensures that we have a flow of blooms from March through May. Sweet peas love the cool weather and germinate readily in fall, setting their roots down and taking off in early spring for an amazing crop of scented frilly blooms. Now is also a great time to get bare root peonies into the ground. Peonies perform best when planted shallow with about an inch of soil over their eyes or sprouts. Thanks for watching, California. I'm Charmaine Turbow, head farmette here at Turbow Farms in Los Altos. To learn more about growing cut flowers and life at our microflower farm, find us at turbofarms.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
So there's a whole bunch of those online. And tonight you're going to go home in the wee hours of the night. Oops, what did I do? Oh, Jen, I need your help. Where did everything go? In the wee hours of the night, you're going to get onto my YouTube channel and just play and walk away. Don't know. I think so. Maybe it's on the other screen. Oh, yep, sorry. There you go. Thank you. Thanks for saving my ham. So this is how you can call to action, people, call to action. So tonight, yes, please find us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and you will make me happier because then I get to tell my kids that I'm more popular tomorrow morning. That's how they rate their mom these days. Okay, so there, Turbow Farms, there you go. Okay. Workshops. We love workshops. This is a chance for people to come on site to our place. Each workshop is curated for it to be a unique experience and for everybody just to be immersed into the world of floral farming, to get your hands a little dirty. What I love is it's an opportunity for you to smell, feel, and really just kind of kick back and relax. I've often been asked, can you bring this experience to my office? I would love to say yes, but half the experience is really being in the dirt and getting the chance to harvest flowers, right? Otherwise, I'm like any other floral designer, I guess, which isn't a bad thing. But really, the experience is just to be there and to be still for a period of time. So here's another video for you.
Seasonal workshops can include creating farm-to-table floral arrangements, seasonal wreath making, decorating succulent topped pumpkins, and more. And light refreshments will keep everyone energized. We're open for events from March through December and tailor experiences for groups up to 50 people. So gather your team, cultivate, and create something amazing at Turbow Farms. Book today, inspire your team tomorrow.
So that was a really fun workshop that we did for Cisco where we had 38 team members and they made dried floral wreaths. So I know you're itching to know what workshops do we have coming up. So real quick, we have a succulent top pumpkin workshop actually next Saturday, the 18th. These were 2 minis as samples. Oh, this is really funny. You have to see, we're all a bunch of video junkies tonight. So this is actually right after last year's workshop, and you should
your advice and
Wait,
put a little bit more.
where did eyeball?
Eye is right here.
Eyeball?
Still
Or spiders kind of had babies.
spider infestation and then.
Kind of threw up and had friends. Yeah. Got some black crow happening, little deodora rosettes, kind of bringing a little touch of fall. Like
Anything
these
for her, right?
fingers, you know, it looks like, wow,
That's exactly, fingers coming to consume you.
that's a little soft for you, I think.
I took all of your advice and I took all of the rule of threes and things are dying, but there's still life that's kind of coming through. There's a little bit of hope and life happening.
It's really deep. This is a deep, deep, well thought piece. Congratulations. You graduated Turbo Farms Pumpkin.
Well, that's just all in your hands. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
I was beside myself laughing while Kim was filming that. Oh, the fun we have at workshops. In December, this is actually a very, very fun workshop. This is kind of like the buzz that we have when we're doing workshops. We had 34 people in the house for our Protea wreath workshop, and it's inspired by the Australian and South African natives that we've planted up top. So that's just for you to get a sense of what it's like being at our farm. We like people to experience floral abundance, and this is part of our spreading joy. We want people to feel like the garden has jumped out onto your table. I'll be honest with you, it's a horrible business model because of the number of stems that I use into floral pieces. But I've also come to realize that we've seen so much joy. We spread happiness. We also help people mourn. And when people can be enveloped in that amount of flowers, it's actually a very, very, it rests really well with my heart and what we're doing at the farm. So these are just a few of the pieces that we've made over the season. Floral eye candy, I call it. And let's see what else. Oh, this is going to be like in a week or two. These are our heirloom mums. They're a lot of fun. And they kind of wrap up the season, you know. This is a piece that we made. Those sunflowers up there are atypical. They're called Astra Rose sunflowers. And we've got some Lysianthus. I pull some myrtle, as you can see the green buds. And there's some mountain euphorbia hanging off the side of the bowl, that green and white leafed plant. I like using atypical things. I'm a weirdo in that sense, I guess. Okay, so one of the big things is creating community. This is a big, big part of what I deem as success. I can't grow everything, and it's very humbling when I have to tell people I can't grow everything. But these are the women that I lean on when I need extra things. There, in that picture, there are 4 other flower farmer growers locally. We've got Jess, Trang, Vo of Vo Floral, Dawn and Julia. Dawn's not in the picture, but Julia, Tiny Footprint Flowers. Amy Hansel, also another member here of Western Hort. Marcia Reed in the red in the back. She is my peony mentor, and she has Charmaine Peony Nursery up in San Jose Hills. And Trang Boy off to the right, she's my sister from another mother. She has a property up in Sebastopol, and she is the bearded iris and rose nut. So it's because of the farm that I've met all these amazing people, and I think that is the best part of starting the farm is all these new flower friends that I've made. The other really cool thing about having this flower farm is the collaboration that I've been given the opportunity to do. So you go, why is there paint? This young lady, her name is Rebecca Lafatoon, and she is also known as Botanical Becca. She approached me last fall and said, Charmaine, would you be willing to collaborate? I was thinking of bringing some painters over to your place and we could do some workshops. So the workshops that we have done together. They have been sold out. They've been so well received. And it's something that I never thought that we'd be using our space. And it's just this serene quiet where everybody's painting and just um, filled with joy and laughter. And I realize it doesn't just have to be cutting flowers all the time. So this is kind of like an offshoot of why we started the farm. But this is what I wrote to her. We were graced with a beautiful day at the farm. Thank you at Botanical Becca for drawing out inner creativity, discovering hidden talents, and bringing together a beautiful group of friends and newfound flower friends. Quiet time amongst the chirping birds has never been so golden. Okay, something that leaning back onto my kids. One of the things with starting the farm I've always wanted to do is how can we do something philanthropic? And so every year I started what's called Flowers for Fortitude. We come up with a project, whether it's donating our flowers to our local friends called the Blossom Buddies here in Los Altos, or my kids do a pop-up stand. You know, they'll sell flowers, they'll sell cookies, and we'll donate the money back to a nonprofit locally here. The latest and greatest 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, my kids started what's called Botanicones. And the girls will go around town. Now, nobody is to steal this idea. They will be so upset with you. They will go scour the streets of Los Altos picking up Deodara rose cones. And they sell them on their Etsy shop called Botanicones. And they take those funds and they donate it to local nonprofit. They have since also taken things that they've grown from seed, like our celosias, straw flowers, things that we actually don't end up consuming during the year. And again, they've created their shop on Etsy and they sell those things and put it back towards nonprofit. And yes, admittedly, they will buy a Lego or two in the process because, you know, it makes them feel better about what they're doing too. Yeah. This is probably one of the fun joy projects of the farm. Marie here is a sweet pea addict. Actually, she is a lover of all plants. And whenever there's volunteers, and I say, toss them, she puts them in her pocket. So this past year, I said, hey, you know what? We're going to let these sweet peas die back. Let's just collect the seeds. And I kind of surprised Marie. I started printing these seed packets. And last fall, I sent an email blast out to our subscribership. At the time was about 1,100 people. And I said, if you'd like some sweet peas, click yes on the button tab, fill out the form, and I will mail you a pack of Marie's Sweeties. These sweet peas went all over the place. They went Washington, East Coast, you know, and I got the nicest emails back with people who grew them. Sweet peas just have this nostalgia and all these stories about, well, my grandmother was named Marie. I'm like, whoa. So I would love for all of you to stay connected. How? Spread the love, share our farm with a friend. Join us on YouTube. Again, tonight you're going to go home, click subscribe, play, walk away. And please take whatever you've learned today, pay it forward, share it with somebody else. This is how you can get in contact with us. Either find us on the web, shoot me an email, Instagram. And my ask is, if any of you have unique blooms that you feel would make great cut flower, please email me. And if you have any stock that you'd like to share, I would gladly love to trial it because I love the quirky things. And I'll show you some of the things that we have tonight for a quick demo. But yeah, flowers or bust. Thank you.